Hi guys, welcome. And who dat? I'm Joe, and today I am bringing you the list of 11 undrafted free agents that the Saints have picked up since the conclusion of the 2023 NFL Draft. All right, guys, we picked up 11 players, and I'm not going to go too much into measurables. We're going to pull up the full list, and we're going to talk about them a little bit. So there you go. So far, we have running back SaRodorick Thompson out of Texas Tech. We have a couple of offensive linemen, Alex Bilstrom from Illinois, and Mark Evans II from Arkansas Pine Bluff. We picked up a tight end, Joel Wilson out of Central Michigan. We got a punter in Lou Henry coming in to compete with Blake Gillikin. We picked up a DB, Anthony Johnson out of Virginia. And I got my eye on him. I think he's going to make the roster. I believe he was at the Senior Bowl. And I had him as a draft pick. So grabbing him, I think, is pretty exciting. We got a couple of linebackers. Anthony Orji. You got to love that last name, Orji. Anyway. And also Nick Anderson out of Tulane. Now, Anthony Orji had a draftable grade, 7th round grade. And Nick Anderson, anyone that watched Tulane knows that he's a good player. Excited about that, bringing more depth in at linebacker. We also picked up kicker Blake Groupie. We have an Orgy and a Groupie. What's going on here? This guy's out of Notre Dame. We have a backup kicker already behind Will Lutz. And so now we have 3 kickers on the roster. We're going to have a lot of competition for Will Lutz. I think Will Lutz is going to end up winning this job again. And we picked up 2 wide receivers, Shaq Davis out of South Carolina State and Cy Barrett out of Davenport University. Leave it up to the Saints to find another college I've never heard of before. So those are the undrafted guys we got so far. I think the buzz right now in Who Dat Nation is coming for the selection of Joel Wilson, the tight end. And looking into his numbers, there's some potential there. He's a decent route runner. And he's intelligent as far as who to block, picking up blitzes and stuff like that. So as a blocker, mentally, I think he's there. And he's got a willingness to do it. And that's all you really can expect. If they're not willing to block, like let's say Adam Troutman, who felt like, Troutman wanted to be traded. And he said he wasn't being utilized like he wished he would have. And I think what he was saying is the Saints only wanted him to run block. They didn't want him running routes. And he got to see Juwan Johnson catch 7 touchdowns. And every time Adam Troutman went on the field, they wanted him to run block. And he wanted to be in the mix more as a pass catcher. That's fine. But you're going to Denver with Sean Payton, so get ready to run block because that's what they asked you to do here, and that's what he's going to ask you to do too. Now, if you can get open and make the catches and you give our quarterback a target to throw to, we'll run you out in routes. Okay? It seemed like Juwan Johnson got open and made the plays. So I'm sorry Adam Troutman feels that way about run blocking. Hopefully Joel Wilson will improve. Because as a run blocker, he's just okay, but he's willing to do it. As a pass blocker, he's just okay, but at least he's intelligent enough to pick up the blitzers and stuff like that. Like I say, decent route runner. He's got good size, so people are excited about him because he's a tight end. I'm not so excited that he's going to turn into something that's going to change our fortunes at tight end. But I understand why the Saints fans are excited about him. They're also excited about Nick Anderson. I'm excited about Nick Anderson too. Nick Anderson is slotted to play the will, which is the same position as Pete Werner. And I was worried if Pete Werner got injured this year that we wouldn't have a backup will. You know, we would have had to take Vaughn, who's a good Sam, put him at will. I don't know how Vaughn would have managed. Now we have a legit will in Nick Anderson. I feel pretty confident about that. Orgy, on the other hand, is going to play the Sam. And the Sam is where Vaughn is at now. I'm not high on Orgy, but, you know, the Sam is a linebacker spot that we don't play a lot. But when we do, we have Vaughn. Vaughn's in his last year. And Orgy's going to come in and push Vaughn. That's good. I like that. We're going to talk about the receivers real quick. A lot of people, Saints pundits, are excited about Shaq Davis. He's 6'5", 217 pounds. So you have a 6'5" wide receiver. He can add some pounds. Man, he adds 40 pounds and put him at tight end. But, you know, he could add another 10, 15 pounds, and he would be a really big body at wide receiver. But the player himself is just okay. He'll compete. I'm not too high on him. I'm actually a little more excited about Cy Barrett. He's only 6 foot, 190, and he comes out of a really small school I've never heard of before, Davenport University. So, what I like about him is his versatility. He can punt, and he can kick in a pinch. So, yeah, he's a 6 foot wide receiver who, you know, playing at a small school, you're not sure how it's going to translate to the NFL. But if you're a wide receiver, and let's say he gets involved in special teams, but you can also punt an average of 42 yards a punt. I don't know if he was Davenport's full-time punter. The stats said that last year he averaged 42 yards a punt. And he also can kick in a pinch as a kicker. I don't know if he can make a 40-yard field goal, but he can make extra points. I like people. I like people with diversity. I like people who with versatility. You know, if you can get a wide receiver who can make a notch in special teams as a coverage guy, maybe a returner, whatever, but he can also back you up at punter and kicker, he might have a better shot of making this team than most wide receivers because of that versatility. I just think that's interesting. I haven't heard anybody talk about that yet. So we'll see if Cy Barnett makes it out of rookie minicamp or not. I just think that's interesting. Backup kicker and punter from a wide receiver. You know, it's kind of like Alvin Kamara can throw a ball. He's not going to play quarterback for you, but there was a couple of games when he was our emergency quarterback. Yeah, I like that. I like versatility. And speaking of versatility, Anthony Johnson from Virginia. He played cornerback and he played safety, and he was pretty good at both of them. He was good at cornerback, and I think he kind of excelled at safety. I love that versatility for a DB. And we got a lot of them on our team that are versatile, that can play nickel, that can play corner on the outside, that can play safety, that can play in the box. I'm excited about Anthony Johnson. I think he makes the team. And then the last two I want to talk about are the offensive linemen. Mark Evans II out of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Played left tackle, and he can slide over to guard. I like that. I like that. You need to be able to play multiple positions on the offensive line. We got ourselves a great tackle out of Arkansas Pine Bluff before, so let's see if Mark Evans turns into something. We like that versatility on the offensive line. But the offensive lineman I'm excited about is Alex Bilstrom out of Illinois. Plays guard and plays center. He also plays tight end. He's a big boy, but he was a tight end at Illinois. And they moved him from tight end to guard. And he was willing and able. And then I believe last year they put him at center, and he excelled. So if you're a tight end that says, yeah, I'll play guard, yeah, I'll play center, I like that. Make you notch, and every time they put you in a place, you do well. I'm not saying Alex Bilstrom is going to be a backup tight end for us. I'm just saying it's just like Taysom Hill. In a pinch, you can put him at tight end. Hey, in a pinch, Bilstrom can probably be our sixth offensive lineman. You know, that third tight end, blocking tight end kind of thing, and be a backup center and guard. Okay, I like it. So those are our undrafted rookie free agents. And now we're going to pull up the Saints roster, and we're going to take a look at what it looks like now. Oh, now that we have 18 new players, let's pull up the offense. There's our boys. There's our boys in black and gold. I've got Jake Hayner above Jake Luton, or Luton. I think Luton's going to end up on the street or on the practice squad, one or the other, where we've been keeping him. Like I say, I don't think Hayner's going on the practice squad. I think we're going to have to keep him on the active roster, 4th-round draft pick. Maybe Jameis Winston's days are numbered. Running back, I had to change the font because we got so many of them running backs now. I see a lot of pundits talk about running back, and they always mention Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams, and then they're like, well, who else do we have? And every now and then somebody says, Eno Benjamin, right? I don't know how he's... Yeah, we have Eno. We still have Dwayne Washington, who was our 3rd running back last year. We have Derek Gore. And now we're going to add Kendre Miller and Sir Roderick Thompson in the mix. So, yeah, I think out of all of these guys, we can find a number 3, a number 4. I'm positive Dwayne Washington is going to stay on this team as our 4th running back. It's funny because most of the pundits don't even mention him. He is on the roster. He is a special teams ace. And he can play running back. So yeah, I think we only need one more running back. We've got 3. We've got Kamara, we've got Williams, and we've got Dwayne Washington. So we need one more, a guy that's going to be a better runner than Washington. And we've got a handful to choose from. Let's see how far Eno Benjamin has progressed. And let's see if Sir Roderick Thompson can try to beat out Eno Benjamin. And all of them are going to be trying to beat out Kendre Miller, who I believe we're going to keep as our 3rd runner. All right, we still got the one fullback, Adam Prentice, and this is his last year, so it would not surprise me to see them bring in another fullback after this afternoon. Later on this week, we'll sign a few more players, including probably veteran free agents, and I will do another video this week if we re-sign or if we sign somebody else. So, Hunter Lemke. I think Green Bay ended up signing him. He was a rookie free agent. I was hoping we'd grab him. He was a guy I was eyeing. He could play fullback and tight end. And, oh, well. So we still have Prentice. Wide receiver. I don't have these broken down as number 1 outside, number 2 outside, and then slot. I just have 3 spots here. I have all the receivers shoved in there. Lots of wide receivers to choose from now. Lots of players with size. Traquan Smith and Brian Edwards was the guys with size before. Now we have A.T. Perry and Shaq Davis to add to that size. So I think out of all this group here, we're going to see what we have in rookie minicamp, and I still think signing a veteran free agent is not out of the question. Brian Edwards is supposed to be that guy, the veteran free agent that we went out and got. And I really hope Brian Edwards is the guy that stands out here. I hope he's good enough to be our number 4. A.T. Perry can be our number 5. And, Traquan Smith can be our number 6. And we're good. And we're good. Let's see how all of that works out at wide receiver. Log jam there now, but don't be surprised if we grab another veteran in free agency after the rookie minicamp. Tight end, yep, that's the weakest spot. You can look across everything here, and lots of these players are backups that can mix and match, but tight end is an issue. Adam Troutman didn't want to be anymore. He's gone. So now we have Juwan Johnson and, Taysom Hill. And then we got Miller Forrestall, who I don't know. I just don't know. We haven't seen what he can do yet. Lucas Kroll, undrafted rookie last year. He's going to get a lot of playing time this preseason. We're going to find out if he can be a number 2 and number 3 tight end. And Joel Wilson, of course. Throw him in the mix. Tight end might be an area of need for us if we don't secure Hunter. What's his name? The guy from the Raiders. Foster Moreau. Foster Moreau may be available to us at the middle of the season, so we can sign him after today. He'll be available at the end of the season. If that happens, we're good at tight end. If we have Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau, and then Taysom Hill, and then maybe another guy like Lucas Kroll, and then we'll be okay. We can make it through the season. So I got my eye on that. Foster Moreau. You also have Cameron Brate. There's a couple other veteran tight ends out there that you can bring in. The Saints do that a lot to try to fill roster spots. So biggest position of need on the offense right now is tight end. So we're looking at that. Probably getting Moreau at the end of the year. Maybe we address it earlier. And then you got your offensive lineman. Wow, this is great. I don't know where to line anybody up anymore. Lewis Kidd can play left guard, right tackle. Okay, we've got the center now in Bilstrom, who can also play guard. We've got Mark Evans now, who can play left tackle and guard. We've got Nick Saldiveri that can play tackle and guard, and they're saying that he might project as center best out of all of the positions. So I don't know where Saldiveri is going to end up. I think Saldiveri right now is going to push Throckmorton and Kidd for the backup guard spot. And then Bilstrom, backup guard, backup center. Mark Evans, backup tackle, guard. And of course, we've got the veteran that can. He's either going to start at left tackle or he'll be our primary tackle guard backup. And hopefully Trevor Penning is our starter of the future. Andres Pete, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, Ryan Ramczyk, and backup pieces that we had before. Calvin Throckmorton, Lewis Kidd, Landon Young, and all these other guys that are going to compete. Okay, so all of the backup offensive linemen are mix and match, basically. I've got them listed here the way that I think is appropriate, but by the time the season starts, they'll all have their solidified spots. Now we're going to pull up that black and gold defense. Here we are. And you'll notice both my lists, offense and defense, I have not placed any rookie in a starting position. Brian Bresee is going to be behind Nathan Shepard. And we'll see how that works out. Maybe Bresee becomes the starter before the season starts. Isaiah Foskey is going to be competing behind Peyton Turner and Carl Granderson. Granderson was our starter last year. I have to keep reminding people, because it seems like they don't realize it, but we had a top-notch NFL defense last year at the end of the year. And our starters were Cam Jordan and Granderson. We want Peyton Turner to turn a corner, and if he does, he becomes the Isaiah Foskey of our team, right? the pass rusher. Hopefully, one of these guys, either Peyton Turner or Isaiah Foskey, can turn out to be a better overall player than Carl Granderson, right? But for right now, Granderson is our starter, and we were looking pretty good last year. He can also kick inside, so can Peyton Turner. There's a hope that Foskey can do the same. And on the other side, old man Cam and Tano Passanio. Passanio and Cam can both kick inside. It's another reason why pass rushing defensive tackle wasn't this screaming need everybody said it was. When you can kick a bunch of players inside, that can give you a pass rush and what they call that NASCAR defensive line set, pass rushing set. So yeah. We have a couple of good run stuffers in the middle now with Saunders and Shepard. That's what we were lacking last year. We've always been lacking pass rush in the middle of the defensive line. But we were allowing too much yards on the ground, and we addressed that in free agency, and now we got a piece to play with Rasee as a pass rusher. I still think we need to add a few more bodies at defensive tackle. We did not address that in undrafted rookies yet. We haven't gotten an end or a defensive tackle yet as a rookie free agent. Like I say, after 4 o'clock today is when the comp picks get allocated, and then the Saints are going to start grabbing more players. Linebacker. There we are. Wow. Now we have a legit backup Sam, a legit backup Will, and all these other pieces. We still are holding out a lot of hope for DeMarco Jackson and Nephi Sewell. I like Nephi Sewell a lot. I think he's going to take another leap this year, and we're going to feel pretty comfortable at middle linebacker. We still have Ty Summers. We still have a couple of other guys that have been in the league that are backups right now on our team. So we're going to make it work. We don't have that one guy that we think is going to take, turn a corner and hit the next level. We've got our starters, Demario Davis, Pete Werner. Those two are out on the field 80 to 90% of the time, and we've got 2 Pro Bowl linebackers. So I just want to see that depth get better. Maybe Zach Bond turns a corner this year. Maybe DeMarco Jackson shows us something. He was injured last year. He shows us something this year. I know Nephi Sewell is a good player. And now we've got these undrafted guys to throw into the mix. Looking at DBs, you can mix and match all of these as well. I don't have a slot here for nickel corner. I'm just throwing everybody down there. You got Lonnie Johnson, who is basically a cornerback, but I have him here as a safety. It's all mix and match. The more versatile you can be as a DB, the better for this team. Right now, I have Jordan Howden backing up Marcus May. All of these guys, Jonathan Abram, Lonnie Johnson, and Ugo Amadi can all play corner and safety. Alante Taylor, is expected to be an outside guy. Everybody thinks that he's got the skill to be a good nickel slot kind of player, but he showed so much on the outside that I wouldn't, if we're down to nothing and we got a Debo on the outside and Taylor on the inside, that's fine. Debo, I don't think, can play in the inside, and he struggled last year a little bit, but I think Debo's a good player overall. So, and Bradley Roby can play outside, and he excelled inside for us this past year. So we bring in Jordan Howden, and we bring in a couple other guys, Anthony Johnson. And, you can mix and match with the secondary there as well. When the final 53-man roster is set in stone, I'll rearrange all of this, and we'll see exactly what we're dealing with. Looks pretty good to me, I think. Only players I'm not showing you are our special teamers. We have 3 kickers, 2 punters, and a long snapper. And the punter and kicker will probably end up Will Lutz and Blake Gillikin again. That's what I'm expecting. Long snapper Zach Wood. This is the final year of Zach Wood's contract, and I think he's 28. So we'll probably re-sign him, and then there you go. Our kick returners, Rashid Shaheed, if he decides to be if we decide to have him such an integral part of the wide receiving core that he's not our returner anymore, then we need options there. So a lot of these rookie free agents will compete for that. We're going to see how all of this turns out. I like having Rashid Shaheed as our returner. That just gets the ball in his hands. Just because he plays wide receiver a bunch doesn't mean we're going to get the ball in his hands a bunch. So let him be our kick returner and punt returner. There you go, guys. Who dat nation? There's your black and gold team right now. Like I say, I'll do another video later on this week when we start signing more players. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10 for more videos like this. I'm Joe, and I'll see you later on in the week. Who dat?